Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Of course, today we speak about the huge big statements reported by TOPCALCIO24 yesterday night, telling us that John Elkann would be selling Juventus. And so that's a really huge one. We speak about it, also the latest possible news about the board of directors changes, and then we go towards Golden Boy for the second year in a row, at least in the nominees. Kenan, Yildiz, the interview to Weston McKennie, my opinion about that, and then we enter, because after a second international break, we think about the first game, Como Juve. Ragazzi, I will not be the only one to speak today because I promised it, and I'm extremely happy and honored to welcome a new signing. GJustjuve made a signing because on the channel we have an official doctor. We have Mohamed Rwemie, or should I say Dr. Mohamed Rwemie, that will be the official doctor of the channel when we have problems with health, when not person of the team, of course. When we have players that are injured, let's say, he will be the expert that will guide us through explaining us what exactly is the problem, what are the recovery times, and also, was it badly managed by Juve, is it bad luck, etc., etc. And of course, the first question I asked him was about Bremer. Can he also give us a recovery time for Gleison Bremer? When will we be able to see him back on the field? So he took time to send us a video to answer, and I really want to, you guys, welcome Dr. Mohamed Rwemie.
Ciao Giuseppe, how are you and all the fans? I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm Dr. Mohamed Rwemie. I'm orthopedic and sport medicine surgeon. There's a lot of questions these days about the Bremer injury, and is it related to the ACL reconstruction that happened to him before or not? Well, I'm gonna explain in a few minutes what's the ACL reconstruction surgery is. It's we call it arthroscopic surgery, that we make a new anterior cruciate ligament. We are taking it sometimes from the ankle joint or from the hamstring muscle itself. We are making tendon, this tendon, we inserting it inside the knee by a specific way in the arthroscopic surgery. Well, nowadays the question is why there is a lot of players getting injuries after the ACL reconstruction surgery. Well, the joint itself after the ACL operation, what's happening is the biomechanics of the knee itself has changed because the anterior cruciate ligament itself, it was the main supporter of the joint for something we call the translation. That means the knee doesn't translate forward and backward. So when we do a new tendon, ligament, sorry, it's not gonna be like the same, the old one. It's gonna be like 70% maximum or 75%. So here, what's happening? The transmission of power and the biomechanics of the knee transmitting from some of this power transmitted from the ACL, the new one, to the meniscus. So this leads to that there is more pressure on the meniscus, and this makes tears in the meniscus. For Bremer, I don't know exactly what happened to him for the meniscus. Maybe it's tear, partial, complete, whatever. For the athletes, what we're doing something called stitches, or we are making like sutures inside for this ligament. So we give like a long life span for this meniscus. How many time he does need to recover? If it was partial meniscectomy, which is we are like making like bites from the old one, and we taking it off, this is gonna like 1 month and 1.5 months to be back. But if there is sutures inside the meniscus, he's gonna take time. Maybe he's gonna take like 3 months, because after the sutures, we're not letting the player putting his foot in the floor. We are taking like 2 weeks to let him just touch the floor. So he's gonna take a long time for rehab. This is all for the meniscus. Why there is a lot of players happening to them now, and in the past it didn't happen, because of the frequency of the games. More frequency of the games, more load, more pressure on the knee, more injuries. That's all for now. See you guys. Fino alla fine for the Juventus.
Again, I really want to say welcome and thank again to Dr. Mohamed. Now, I must say that, of course, it's bad news, but they were already reported by some papers between 6 and 8 weeks. Doctor is going with a bit more, 3 months. I saw also some reports that were saying we could potentially be back in January. So the doctor is not that far away from his prognosis, from the time that he sees as recovery, which would be a real bad news. But I believe that we need to be really cautious with that. If you listen really carefully to the words of the doctor, I hope you appreciated at least the transparency. He's a huge big Juventino, as you heard in the video. That being said, ragazzi, we go towards the other big topics, because yesterday TOPCALCIO24 goes out with John Elkann would be selling Juventus, a potential game changer in the club's history. Ragazzi, when I read this, usually I should be or in panic mode or in celebration mode, depending what is your point of view about that. But I must say that when I saw it yesterday, I didn't want to go with a clickbait video, with a huge big breaking news video, for which reason? Because I'm old, unfortunately, and it's not the first time that I'm reading these kind of news that are coming out of nowhere. Andrea Agnelli is ready to sell, John Elkann is ready to sell, Gianni Agnelli is ready to sell. How many times did I read these kind of informations? I can tell you a lot. I don't have enough with the 10 fingers on my both hands. It's impossible. Or because the club is not doing well, and then you start hearing that, or because the club is doing too well. You remember when we were winning 9 Scudetti in a row and people started to be bored and they needed to invent something, because speaking about the result of Juve that was winning, apparently, according to some Juventini, but especially anti-Juventini, it started to be extremely boring. So no, I didn't jump out of my seat yesterday, also because I blame one thing to TOPCALCIO24. If you launch a bomb like that, you need to at least give us a bit more explanations, because ready to sell or would be selling Juve, when? To who? For what reason? Explain us a bit more details, because we don't know. Is it 100% of Juve, or is it a quote of Juve entering new partners? We don't know. We have absolutely no idea. Then, can it be true that these rumors are existing? Absolutely yes, because it's a consideration that today, in 2025, we must take seriously. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I would have told you, bah, no, ragazzi, don't even think about it. Today, I take the consideration that one day the family, Elkann, Agnelli, Exor, could think about selling Juve. Ragazzi, I love Juve, the institution, the club. Of course, you know that I'm a huge big fan of our history, a huge big fan of the family Agnelli for all what it represented through years, through my Juventinità. I've only knew Juve through the Agnelli family, to Exor, to Elkann, and it would be a huge big pity to lose a bit, because you never know what can happen. Look at Manchester United, but also look in Italy, Milan and Inter, before finding a bit of stability, how difficult era they went through, that banter era without Champions League for 5-6 years in a row. You never know what can happen. Being sold again, you don't know. So I would be extremely sad about that. Then, ragazzi, if you tell me John Elkann decided to be the first one to sell the club, but we are able to find a new ownership that is guarantee us that Juventus is a top club, that it's not a marketing club, that it's not a business only for money for shareholders, but it's a club that has that ambition to continue to win and to dominate Italian, but also international stage. Ragazzi, we'll speak about it. But immediately this morning we started to hear the first denial about that John Elkann is not thinking about it, because he started a project with Damien Comolli, giving him the keys of Juve, thinking about a medium-long-term project. And then Andrea Agnelli, yes, he's always there in the background, coming back one day to Juve could be a possibility, but not for today. For the CDA, for the board of directors, that will be held on the 7th of November, we heard a lot of things. Cannavino should give up, or should dismiss himself, resign actually from that role, from a CEO of the club, and that role would be to Damien Comolli, something that we already spoiled here long time ago on the channel, that we repeated recently. That's actually one of the things that could potentially be at 95% confirmed, because everyone is speaking about it, like Nicola Schira, Tutto Sport, etc., etc. Then for the presidency, I told you, calma. What is one of the newness there? Well, that Giorgio Chiellini, that was about to enter the board of directors, could potentially delay that position, because he will also represent Juventus legally in Italy for the institution, so he will have a lot of extra work. So entering the board of directors could potentially be something to postpone to a bit later. And then attenzione to Arduino with Tether, that could today have, I don't know if it will be announced today or not, but it could be that we have the first board members of Tether in Juve. Will it change a lot? Well, it depends, because 1 on 12, it's still 1 on 12. Let's see. We will come back on that when we have more information, but I wanted to say to the people that went yesterday in celebration mode or depression mode about John Elkann selling the club, calma before further notice, but it's something that we need to take, of course, seriously. Tutto Sport is speaking about the game of this weekend at 12:30 p.m. Italian time. Paz Yildiz, it's a future show, because these are probably the best players of Serie A at the moment. If you're speaking about today, but also probably for tomorrow, the potential of these two players is exceptional. We saw it, of course. If you tell me, Pepe, choose between Kenan and Nico, I go immediately with Kenan. It's my player. I grew him up, but of course, Nico Paz is a fantastic player as well. Finalista al Golden Boy, our player, the number 10 of Juve, is there for the second time in a row in the nominee list of Golden Boy. I believe that also the supporters could vote. So if and when it will be open for the votes, let's hope that we can have him to win that trophy. Last year he won the Italian Golden Boy, but being there to the official one would be crazy. In that list you also have players like Dean Huijsen, but that's another story, and we can't wait to see him back on the field this Sunday. Hopefully he can repeat what he did with the Turkish national team this international break. Corriere dello Sport is speaking about Como Juve also with Dusan Vlahovic. Juve, riecco Dusan Vlahovic. He's back, Dusan Vlahovic. Also backed up by Tutto Sport, with Dusan Vlahovic could be the starter. Yes, it is a possibility, but also Gazzetta dello Sport telling us Dusan, it's over with no scoring, because he scored in the international break with Serbia, and now he wants to take Juve, make Juve his own. Calma. Making Juve his own, I think it's a bit late to really translate it like that, because he could have thought about it earlier, finding an agreement with Juve that at the moment, as we speak, he didn't find. So Barcelona could potentially be on the player, Bayern Munich could potentially be on the player wanting his share. At today, there is absolutely no new contract waiting for Dusan, because he doesn't want, because Juve doesn't want. So then, can he take back Juve for the part of next game that we will play, Como, Real Madrid, Lazio, and all the other ones? It could be. I continue to say that Dusan Vlahovic should not be put out of the team. He's part of the team, and it's crucial for the team because we have him at disposal. But attenzione, because if you put too much insistence in starting Dusan Vlahovic over Jonathan David, over Openda, well, the risk that you have is that you are actually putting a lot more value on a player that will not be yours, while you are actually maybe penalizing, putting a bit on depression mentally, and taking away some confidence from two players that should be your starter striker from this season already, but also for the successive one, because these two players will stay while Dusan Vlahovic will not be there. Then I finish with the last point about Weston McKennie, an interview after a game with USA where he said, look, Tudor, he put me a lot of pressure. He told me that now I start to get older than a few years ago, and that my body will not be able to adapt, to recuperate as fast as I was doing in the past, that I must lose weight. And that was the only way to be involved in the team, to play for this team without losing weight. I would not. These things were said during the Club World Cup in USA. And then he continues to say, I put my head down and I started to work really hard, and I even work more than in the past. So bravo, Weston McKennie, to understand the message of Igor Tudor. Always bravo, because it's one that when you tell him things, he's doing things. He's never giving up. He's always fighting for a spot. A lot of time we don't see him in the starting lineups, and then magically he's there playing all the games. So bravo, Weston McKennie. On the other side, if I can criticize one thing, and it's not about the guy because he's a fantastic person, but if in 2025, after 5 years of Juve, we still need to repeat it with Tudor that needs to repeat it, or these kind of things that are not the first one, well, it's a pity. It's a pity because that means that you don't learn, that you don't mature on that point of view, which is a pity. Which is a pity because probably Weston McKennie, understanding immediately after that first year that was the level of professional player at Juve, but also in other clubs, probably would have been a starter without any discussion because the qualities are there. Max Allegri was always telling him he has the qualities. He missed that consistency in an entire year. Well, Weston, I hope that these kind of interviews, well, they will never happen anymore in the future. I hope that next year, wherever you will be, at Juve or not, you will say, hey, I play from the first game, from the first minute, because I'm totally in shape, in form, because I know myself without the coach needing to tell me that I need to pay attention to my body, to what I'm doing. Then, oh guys, I'm not the best one to speak about losing weight. We know that, but on the other side, I'm not a Juventus player or I'm not a football player. That being said, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you again to Dr. Mohamed Rwemie. Thank you really for that, but also to all of you that are dedicating time from your day to listen to Juventus stories. Grazie, forza, Juve.